Greg, there is no secret that wins on the road are hard to come by. It's very difficult, but is there any formula to success that you see?
For us, we have to defend better first and foremost, just collectively, and also eliminate some of the individual mistakes. Some of the things that have occurred, we're better than that, and we just have to do that. When you're on the road, you got to make sure you're solid defensively. We've got good attacking players and crafty attacking players who create things, and the biggest thing for us is not to shoot ourselves in the foot by making mistakes and giving away goals that are relatively soft goals. If we do that, I think we can pick up points because we play some pretty good soccer. We have the ball quite a bit, and we create some chances. I think we can create more chances, but the biggest thing is not to give away things.
Toronto FC has the least amount of fouls within the league, but yet red cards seem to be this team's demise as of late. Was there any emphasis on discipline this past week?
It's about collective defending. I think the red cards that we took were for Warren is just sort of a lack of awareness. He didn't realize the guy was there. It wasn't necessarily from him doing anything that I think is discipline related. I think it was just a lack of awareness. With Luke, with the red card after the fact is, Luke was trying to make a play. The ball got knocked away from him. He was just trying to slow down the attack and poke the ball away. Again, I don't think that's discipline. I think that, for me, is the guy trying to make a play for the team. And then earlier in the year, I'm forgetting the red card off of J-Mo is, again, trying to make a play for the team. He's trying to recover in a situation that was a little bit dicey, and he tries to make a play. For me, discipline red cards are guys who are yelling at the ref, who are doing silly things to waste time and taking cards, things like that. These are guys trying to make plays. The timing was just off. The awareness was just off. We were a little bit unfortunate maybe in one or two of those. I think they were a little bit soft maybe, but yeah, just in general, our defending has to be better. We need to be in better places early, and so we're not reacting and trying to make plays from bad positions. And I think we can get ourselves out of that realm where we're a little bit in danger of picking up cards. On the other side, though, I think we need to be harder to play against, and I think part of it is that we have possession a lot, and so maybe we foul a little bit less because we're on the ball more. But at the same time, I do think we need to be harder to play against, get a little bit tighter to people, make it more difficult for teams to put passes together, make it harder for guys to pick up the ball and start dribbling, and we just need to be closer and more present. Doesn't mean we need to be kicking people all over the place, but we need to be present and more difficult to play against.
Both you and Robin have done a good job of explaining the problem areas on this team, but I'm wondering if you might be able to share some specific things you can do in terms of addressing those problems. Is there specific lessons or specific drills or something that you focus on, especially on a bye week, to help improve those problem areas?
Well, first is I think when we're in possession, we have to make sure we're disciplined about our positioning behind the ball. The guys who are not immediately involved in the possession need to be more alert and in better positions to deal with transitions when they take place. Because sometimes transitions haven't killed us, but I think transitions against us have altered our mindset a little bit, where we feel a little bit unstable or where we're not comfortable defensively. And when we are in good shape behind the ball, we actually don't get countered. We win a lot of balls back right away, and then we go back into securing the ball and playing in possession and trying to create chances. So the first thing is not losing balls in bad places, which it's going to happen sometimes, but we can minimize those moments. And second is making sure that our organization and our discipline and our shape behind our attacks is in good standing. And then the last part is when we're defending in our own half of the field is there's got to be for me, it's a fine line between being a little more composed and calm and making plays, but also being a little bit more urgent and getting support to guys and preventing crosses and things like that. But sometimes I think our mistakes are made out of anxiousness instead of being composed and understand that you have things under control and you just need to make a nice simple play and don't make any great play, just make a simple play. And we get a little anxious sometimes. We're in those deep positions defending and from that comes mistakes. And the reason I think that is because guys are making mistakes that if you ask them what to do in that scenario, they would tell you immediately what the right thing is to do. But for some reason in our mind, we do the wrong thing at that moment, and they know better, but I think they're just in this mindset where they're a little bit anxious and maybe afraid that something's going to happen, and then we do something that is uncharacteristic for us in that moment. So again, it's a fine line between being composed and understanding that we have things under control, but also being more urgent to close things down and make sure we deal with it.
So what's going to go into your decision to who's going to play right back this weekend?
I mean, a little bit goes towards health, and a little bit goes towards our preparation and who we can get reps for as we go into this game. But obviously, Mark is returning from health, so we'll see kind of how he progresses over the course of the week. And then we have other options of guys who have played out there between Jackson and Marky Delgado played right back at Chivas. I mean, we have options. Obviously, Nick Hagelin has played some at right back. There's options, but we don't want to make a bunch of changes. That we would like to keep it simple. And if all things are considered, then we'd like to make one simple change, really.
How much are you watching? Is it too early in the season to be watching the table to see what other teams in the Eastern Conference are doing at this point?
I think we watch all the games,
right.
And anytime there's a draw, you're like, okay, that's nice, right? Because I just think this league can give you a false sense of security because it's a long season, and 6 teams make it or whatever. But at the end of the day, the more teams that draw, we'll take it. Especially as we do all of these road games early, and we haven't picked up as many points as we could have or liked. As long as those teams want to keep the table a little bit closer for us until we get ourselves really rolling, I'm okay with that. But I'm not too caught up in the table right now. I'm really most caught up in our performances and getting ourselves right. I think once we really get situated, we're going to get on a roll.
There are 14 MLS players named into Jurgen Klinsmann's U.S. team is playing on Wednesday. Michael's gone. How does that change anything for you, or does it not change anything at all?
It changes a little bit in terms of our preparation and connecting sort of Michael with our group. We'll keep an eye on him. He's a guy who is incredibly fit. He's strong in terms of being able to play multiple games in a week. That's not generally his biggest challenge. The good thing is that the game is in San Antonio, and then he just has to get over to Dallas. There's not a lot of travel involved in that. He'll have a day to recover. So it doesn't change it totally. Hopefully, the key is he gets through the game without any issue, and he feels good after the game. But he recovers fast because of his fitness and his strength, and we'll go from there.
Does the team go down earlier to meet up with him earlier? Did you make arrangements like that? Did that?
No, he'll get into Dallas Thursday and recover, and then we'll meet him there Friday. Okay. But we don't want to fly him all the way back here and then fly him to there. He might as well get there, relax. He's a pro. He has a program that he needs to do, and he'll be ready to go.
General MLS question. You saw the incident between Caleb Porter and Oscar Perea a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
For the league, it's almost something like we want to see that kind of emotion between coaches. Do you feel the same way?
I'm friends with both of them. I actually like both guys. For me, it's a little bit petty. In the grand scheme of things, I like the competition, and for sure they're competitive with each other. I know both of them very competitive guys, and but you never want to try to show up another coach in a stadium or on TV or anything like that. So in the grand scheme of things, it's happened. It's none of my business, but it's not something that I would have done, that's for sure.
Can you just give us an injury update for Demian Perkis and Stephen Caldwell? How are they doing?
Damian's doing very well. So he was out and training for some of the day. For us, it's just management and build him into the week. And if everything continues progressing, then he would be an option for us this weekend. Stephen is getting another scan just to find out, how that recovery is going, just kind of a follow-up. But he's starting to feel good, and he's starting to get some running and some movement on the field. I'd say he's not likely for this weekend, but he's definitely coming along and should be progressing a little more quickly now.
So that's it? Those are the only injuries?
Other than Mark, who's recovering, and Clement, we had a scan last week. He had some swelling in his knee the game prior to, or the day prior to the last match in Chicago, which was very strange. And so we had an MRI, and so he's going to be out for a little while as we sort his situation out a little bit. That was kind of out of the blue. We weren't expecting that, and there's not even an incident that we can connect it to. He just had some swelling in the knee.